In this video, I'm going to dive into 8 reasons that may explain why your narcissistic husband doesn't want to have sex. Strange, no? Let's do it. Hey friends, Tamie M. Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comments section below. And if you're back, welcome back. Thanks for showing up and for tuning in. Either way, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. So let's dive into a topic that can be really sensitive and challenging, to say the least. Why your narcissistic husband doesn't want to have sex with you. But first, I think it's a good idea to start by briefly explaining what destructive narcissism is. Destructive narcissism is a mental health condition characterized by an overinflated sense of self-importance, self-absorption, an irrational sense of entitlement, a need for excessive attention, as well as demonstrating a colossal lack of empathy. In a narcissistic relationship, it's often all about their needs, their desires, and their ego. Your well-being, or the detrimental impact their destructive attitudes and behavior are having on you and your life don't even register on their radar. Now that said, on the high end of the spectrum of destructive narcissism is narcissistic personality disorder, otherwise known as NPD, a severe or extreme mental health condition. Now, although it does take a doctor of psychiatry to do an assessment and formally diagnose someone with a personality disorder, you don't have to be a doctor of psychiatry to determine whether or not you're dealing with someone who lands on the spectrum of destructive narcissism. Armed with the right information, you can determine this based on your personal experience alone. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about diagnosing someone. It's about discerning whether or not you're dealing with someone who has a destructive narcissist personality pattern, which again is characterized by an overinflated sense of self-importance, self-absorption, an irrational sense of entitlement, a need for excessive attention, and demonstrating a lack of empathy. In other words, empathy impairment. And depending where the individual is on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, they may be lacking in conscience altogether. The higher they are on the spectrum, the more that will be the case. So now that we've covered the spectrum of destructive narcissist personality pattern, let's dive into 8 reasons that may explain why your narcissistic husband doesn't want to have sex. Number 1, fear of emotional intimacy. Narcissists are love avoidance to their core, which can be confusing when you consider what goes on in the love bombing stage, but I assure you it's true. They struggle big time with genuine emotional intimacy, which naturally can affect their desire for physical intimacy. So they may not want to have sex because they can't connect with you on a deep emotional level. They are fully, fundamentally, and constitutionally incapable of going there with you. They quite literally do not have the emotional capacity to do so. So it's important to remember that this isn't your fault. Believe it or not, it's not about you. It's a characteristic of their personality pattern, their untreated mental health condition. Number 2, fear of vulnerability. Narcissists are often terrified of being vulnerable. True intimacy requires vulnerability, and they may resist it because being vulnerable would threaten to expose their false persona and carefully constructed image of invincibility and superiority. Now, this fear can be a significant barrier to a healthy sexual relationship with their spouse. So understand, there's a big difference between being seductive and being genuinely vulnerable. And there's a big difference between being emotionally manipulative and being genuinely vulnerable. You may very well have experienced being seduced when it served them. And I'd bet my last dollar you've been emotionally manipulated for years on end. That is not the same thing as a person showing up open and able to be genuinely vulnerable. There's a huge difference there. Number 3, power and control dynamics. Now, narcissistic people thrive on power and control. In the bedroom, they may want to dominate and control the situation, making sex feel transactional or one-sided. Now, this can be a major turnoff for their partners, which of course inflicts narcissistic injury. Once injured, you're not likely to have a willing partner because their ego won't allow for it. And if you want to learn more about narcissistic injury, you can watch this video here. But the point being, power and control dynamics, in particular if the narcissist's fragile ego has taken a hit, may very well be the reason they're now withholding sex from you. Number 4, self-centeredness. Narcissists are inherently self-centered, focusing primarily on their own wants, needs, wishes, and desires. They may not prioritize your pleasure or even consider it during sex. Now, feeling like you're being treated like an object instead of a live, in-the-flesh human being doesn't exactly inspire healthy intimacy. And the moment they realize they aren't living up to your very reasonable and healthy standards and expectations in terms of what healthy reciprocal love looks and feels like, they shut down. Which leads me to my next point. Number 5, punishment. Narcissistic people will withhold sex, attention, validation, and affection to punish you, as well as to manipulate, dominate, and control you. They'll gleefully revel in your discomfort, dissatisfaction, and frustration for no other reason than they enjoy it. In case you haven't noticed, narcissistic people can be incredibly cruel. And if you're an empath, that will make absolutely no sense to you because you aren't built that way. Worse yet, if you have untreated codependency issues, you can and will become very sick, emotionally and otherwise, trying to make sense of the cruelty you're on the receiving end of. Here's a tip. Don't. You never will. They aren't wired the way you are. They don't have your heart, your empathy, your kindness, or compassion. So do not make the mistake of trying to understand why they do what they do from their lens or the lens of what you would or would not do. It's not a level playing field. Now, comment below and let me know whether or not you can relate to any of this. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Now, to be clear, this is an application process. Also, know in advance that this is for you if you're ready and able to invest in yourself and your healing and recovery journey. If you want the pain to stop, you want to find a way out of the fog, confusion, self-doubt, fear, and anxiety brought on by having been exposed to empathy-impaired emotional manipulators who feel entitled to hurt you, and worse yet, blame you for the hurt they cause. If that's you, the link is in the description below this video. Number 6, manipulation and gaslighting. Narcissistic partners often manipulate and gaslight their spouses. Now, they may use sex as a tool for manipulation, withholding it to get what they want, or worse, as I said, to punish you. This toxic behavior can lead to resentment, further diminish your desire for intimacy, and therefore shine a big bright light on their lack of emotional intelligence and the toxic way they're showing up in the relationship. Now this, of course, will trigger their deep-seated feelings of inadequacy, which again causes them to either shut down or go elsewhere to get their needs met, which leads me to my next point. Number 7, perhaps the most painful. Cheating, promiscuity, and sex addiction. Now here's what's true in my experience. Not all narcissists cheat, but many do. Let's face it, you have to be pretty empathy impaired to step out on your partner and then come home, look your partner in the eye, and act as if everything's perfectly normal. No guilt, no shame, no remorse. That requires a certain degree of empathy impairment to pull off successfully, in particular if it's an ongoing and repeated pattern in the relationship. Now that said, a big clue that this is the case is not only that they're no longer interested in sex with you because they're getting their needs met elsewhere, but also if this is what's going on, they're likely to project their own behavior onto you. Meaning, if you are being accused of cheating, chances are good that's exactly what the narcissist is up to. Remember, projection is confession. Narcissists tell on themselves all the time. You just have to know how to listen. Rest assured that when they are attacking you and accusing you of doing things you both know full well you'd never in a million years do, things such as lying and cheating, they are more than likely projecting their own relationship crimes all over you. And last but not least, number 8, erectile dysfunction. Their unresolved emotional issues and the stress from all the chaos and drama they create in their lives, and possibly even their untreated substance abuse issues, all of this can contribute to things not working as well as they used to. Instead of being honest about that, owning and dealing with it head on, they'll choose to make it your fault. You're the issue. They'll blame and shame you instead of getting real and dealing with whatever the underlying issues are. False pride, an overinflated ego, a false sense of superiority, and their arrogant nature in general simply will not allow them to be honest about what's really going on. Avoidance and blame shifting are far easier than admitting that they're deficient or defective in any way, especially when it comes to their masculinity. So throwing you under the bus and annihilating your self-worth while simultaneously breaking your heart keeps the onus and focus off of them, which is always the narcissist's primary modus operandi, no matter who they hurt in the process. Whatever you do, please do not fall for this bullshit. Their issues are not your issues. You are not to blame for the mountains of stuff they don't want to look at that's contributing to or outright causing the problem. So what do you do about it? Well, to begin with, it's important to recognize that people who land on the spectrum of destructive narcissism do not change. If you're dealing with a true blue dyed-in-the-wool narcissist, it's vital that you tell yourself the truth and accept reality for what it is. I don't have to tell you that living with a narcissist can be emotionally exhausting. The constant emotional turmoil can leave you feeling drained, depleted, as well as confused, anxiety-riddled, fearful, and insecure. So know that self-care is crucial to begin to rebuild your emotional strength so you can make whatever decisions you need to make in favor of a better life for yourself. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to rebuild your self-esteem. To say that narcissistic abuse can erode your self-esteem over time is an understatement. So it's essential to focus on rebuilding your self-worth so you can reconnect with your own desires and needs. Seek therapy, counseling, or a coaching program specific to these issues, and engage in self-help activities while surrounding yourself with loving, supportive people who actually want what's best for you. Now that said, one of the most powerful tools in dealing with a narcissistic partner is setting clear and healthy boundaries. Communicate your needs and expectations, even in the bedroom. A relationship should be a two-way street, including when it comes to intimacy. How they respond to your boundaries will be a whole lot of information for you. Again, don't expect them to change, but do pay attention and tell yourself the dirt honest truth about what's going on. Painful as facing the truth may be, it's true that it is the very thing that will set you free. So be honest with yourself. Tell yourself the truth, always. And remember that it's okay to consider whether the relationship is right for you. It's not selfish to prioritize your happiness and well-being, not to mention your mental and emotional health. After all, this is your life we're talking about. Sometimes the best choice is to move on from a toxic relationship. I want you to know that you deserve love, respect, and a safe and fulfilling relationship. Healing from narcissistic abuse is a journey and a process. It's one that you're fully capable of making. Focus on self-care, set boundaries, and seek specialized qualified support. You are stronger than you realize. It's time now. And on that note, I'm going to call it a wrap. But before I go, I have a special announcement to make. You might be interested to know that the Ascension class is open for enrollment, and I'm so beyond excited to bring you this next level of growth, expansion, and evolution that is this transformational coaching program. If you want to go deep with me into the work of reinventing yourself after narcissistic abuse, then this is for you. Be sure to click on the link in the description below this video to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team.